Today on Find the Right Road, I'm going to have a conversation with my friend Jerry, who bought a Tesla Model Y Performance Edition. We will discuss why did he buy a Tesla, why did he choose the Performance Edition over the Long Range Edition, hint, it's not what you think, how long did it take him to get it, what was the delivery like during the COVID-19 pandemic, did he find any quality issues with the vehicle, and a lot of other questions. So stick around to find out. So, Jerry, let's go back to the beginning. Tell me the story. What made you decide you wanted one of these?
Wow. Isn't that something? Why do I need another car?
You didn't need another car.
That's for sure.
No, but you've been investing in Tesla stock and following Tesla stock for a while.
Yeah, to the downside. And so I was actually betting it to the downside by selling naked calls, making some money doing it. I figured, hey, wouldn't it be great if I could buy a Tesla car making money when Tesla stock either went down or didn't move up a lot. So that's what I was doing. So I went and placed the order, which of course with Tesla everything's done online. And
now, of course, we're in Michigan,
right?
So there are no manufacturer outlets where you can actually order and buy a car and drive it home or have it delivered in Michigan because of the whole dealer network issue, which is a conversation we'll get into another time.
Right. Now, I was able to go to the Tesla showroom inside of Somerset Mall
and see them.
And, well, they didn't have any Model Ys, but I was able to talk to other people. In fact, the salesman there almost had me talked into a Model S because they could sell me a Model S unit for about the same price. It was like a demo unit. But I really wanted the Y because it was, a little bit larger in terms of cargo space and what have you. So, but the story there is, they can only make so many of them. And what Tesla has been doing is they tend to make the more expensive models so they can ship the more expensive models and be able to gain that extra revenue. And there was a website that I was following, which, again, I forget the name of it now. I've been like Tesla Mania or something along those lines, where they had a massive spreadsheet of hundreds and hundreds of orders that people had placed for their Tesla Model Ys, and people would update the date that they placed the order, and then whatever update information they got from Tesla in terms of, hey, your order's being billed, hey, it's time for you to pay for it, here's your delivery date, get your insurance in order.
And then, of course, they would also identify whether they ordered a long-range model or a performance edition.
Correct. In fact, you would actually specify all of your order information. And so in this spreadsheet, you were able to see that people who had ordered the performance models were getting their orders filled far faster than people that had ordered just the standard model or the long-range model. And in the spreadsheet, you're also able to see that if you had ordered the 7-seat model, there were none of those being built.
Right.
And if you wanted a white interior, none of those were being built.
Interesting.
So you were able to, at least what I did, is I downloaded the spreadsheet, sorted it on, well, show me which ones are being filled, and I custom made my order to match the ones that they were being made. So my order was filled probably within a month of placing the order.
Okay.
So then I had to fly down to Tampa, take an Uber to the showroom, and pick up my Tesla.
Okay. And then, as we've discussed, you and your son drove it back.
Well, yeah, it actually lived in Tampa for a month, actually a number of months. I picked it up in March, and I drove it back on June 1st.
Of 2020.
Of 2020, yeah. So I actually picked it up during the COVID pandemic. It was a touchless pickup. The delivery expert probably spent a total of 5 minutes with me.
I'll be darned.
I hardly knew how to start it. And as I told you earlier, I didn't know how to run the windshield wipers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of on-the-job learning of how to make it even do things.
So the Performance Edition versus the Long Range Edition, you lose, what do we figure, 35 miles of range?
Yes, you lose 35 miles of range. And what's interesting is people actually tweeted Elon to say, hey, why does the Performance lose 10% of its range to go from 300 miles down to 270 70-ish. And people speculated that it was because you moved from 19-inch wheels to 21-inch wheels, so it's just heavier in terms of having that much more metal spinning.
Yep.
But then also, the rubber that they put on the wheels is a much more racetrack-ready, sticky rubber.
More of a summer type of tire,
yes,
as opposed to an all-season radial.
So its rolling resistance is significantly higher.
Okay, yep.
So it's because the rubber is sticky and it's more metal being turned, and they're also less aerodynamic. So it's not that the motors, because the motors are actually the same between the performance model and the long range, and the batteries are the same.
It's the wheels, tires, and maybe a software difference.
And right. In the wheels, it's the aerodynamics and the weight.
Yeah.
And I didn't really need the performance model. I would just assume have the standard wheels and the standard rubber, and an extra couple tenths of a second of acceleration I could pass with as well to gain another 20 or 30 miles of range.
Yeah. The problem was you didn't want to wait 6 months to get your vehicle.
That's exactly right.
So and now for the second time in its life, in less than 3,000 miles, it's done a trip from Tampa, Florida to Detroit, and now it's doing a Detroit to Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
And you did it in one day with your son on the way back, right?
It was
After you bought it.
Yes, it was a very long day. And that was the first time we really even knew how superchargers worked. And that's a lesson unto itself. You know, like I wasn't sure if the superchargers had a place for a credit card or how it worked.
Yeah, because of your touchless delivery, you didn't get a normal 30-minute orientation on the vehicle and all its bells and whistles. You had to kind of figure it out on your own.
Totally. So I actually watched a YouTube video of a guy going to a Tesla supercharger location, and he kind of walked through it, and he didn't say anything about a credit card.
And you're thinking, okay.
Right. Because Tesla has your credit card on file. And so if you want to order some parts, you want to order a t-shirt, or in this case, if you hadn't already ordered, let's say, a full self-driving, you just check the box in the Tesla app, and they bill your credit card that they have on file. That's the same way they pay for the supercharging.
So is that also where you got the idea of the beanbag and the steering wheel? Was from a YouTube video?
It is. And no one showed a beanbag. People were using fruit.
Yeah, oranges. We talked about that.
Oranges and apples.
Yep. Too funny. So you indicate that, you know, you have multiple vehicles. You don't drive this every day.
No. And I really forgot how much I enjoy driving it, really. I've been driving it this week just in preparation for this trip to make sure that everything was still operational and a go and what have you. But it is a lot of fun to drive.
Well, especially when you've got a long distance travel where you can use the Autopilot feature.
Yeah, we've been hands-free this whole time.
Yeah.
I haven't had to touch the wheel.
Yeah, I think, you know, and we've talked about the fact that we're now probably 700 miles or so into the trip almost, and probably 90% of it or more has all been hands-free.
At least 90%.
Yeah, at least 90%. So, very cool. So you're glad you bought it. You enjoy it.
I enjoy it. I mean, it's a lot of money. I think it paid upper 60s, you know, low 70s. I think upper 60s is what it cost. That's a lot of money to spend for something you park in the garage most of its time.
Yeah. Now, obviously, when you bought it, you had not had an electric car before, so you put in a charging station at your office, and that's where it spends most of its time. But you indicated now you're also putting one in at home, or you're putting one in your place up north?
Yeah, I actually installed a Tesla charger in my Florida house in the week before I got the car. So the moment I picked it up at the Tampa location, I had a place to charge it.
Yeah.
At my office and at a cabin in Upper Michigan, I'm just installing a 40 amp dryer outlet. And that's what you actually use with the Tesla charger that comes with the vehicle.
The little adapter that comes with the vehicle.
Yeah, well, it's actually, you buy separately, what comes with the vehicle is actually a charging plug that you plug into a typical 15 amp, 120 volt outlet.
Yeah, okay.
Which charges the vehicle so slow it borders on useless.
Yeah, right.
But then that same charging unit, you change out that plug with a 40 amp, 240 volt dryer plug, and that charges it fairly quickly.
Okay.
So that's why I installed at my office, and that's what I am in the process of installing at a cabin. That way you can just plug in with that.
And as we've discussed, you also have a Cybertruck on order.
I do, and I'm actually looking forward to that a little bit more in that it has 500 miles worth of range and the ability to tow. Versus this has 260, 270 miles worth of range and no tow.
And no towing. No towing package.
No tow. Right.
So there's been a lot of discussion with some of these earlier models that there have been some quality issues. Have you found any, little gaps in interior and little paint mistakes or body panels that don't line up or anything like that?
I'm fortunate in that I've not found any paint errors. And, the particulars of the body panel alignment issues that you hear people talk about, I think these are very particular people that perhaps they think they're buying a BMW or a Mercedes where everything is absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. There are things on this car that are not perfect, but they're well within...
They're close enough for you.
They're what I feel are within my spec.
Okay. But you didn't have any features that didn't work, or a heated seat doesn't work, or any of that kind of stuff.
No, everything works.
Okay.
The one failure point I had, which I thought was an issue, was actually my all four of these windows are automatic roll up, roll down with single touch.
Yeah.
And they all four of them worked fine for a while. Then one day I noticed that the driver one no longer did one touch auto, and I thought that was really odd. And so I went to a YouTube forum and kind of poked around a little bit,
yep.
And found that that's a feature that you can actually turn on and turn off. And so I had to go through a little process to reset it and make it so all four of them were once again one touch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's been a lot of discussion of people who like to kind of upgrade or personalize their touch in their vehicles with the kind of faux, carbon fiber look and all that kind of. Have you thought about doing any of that to the wood panel up here or anything, or that doesn't interest you?
I have considered that a little bit, but I'll probably do it when I start spending more time in the vehicle. Like I say, let's see, how many miles are we on here now? Out of the 2,800 miles that we've driven, 2,000 of those miles have just been on I-75 going
back and forth, Florida to Michigan.
So I have not driven enough in terms of a day-to-day use. I think when I start doing that more, yeah, I'm going to do that little carbon fiber update there, and also carbon fiber wrap all of the gloss black panels that are here.
Which everybody complains that show all the fingerprints and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, low cost little upgrades, but overall very happy with the car.
And then it pushes out updates to the vehicle, and you said it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, I don't know how Tesla determines who gets the updates and when, but when I first had the vehicle, and perhaps there were less Tesla Ys out there in the wild, I was getting pushed updates once a week.
Okay.
And there was one time I got 3 updates in a single week. Now the updates come about once every 2 or 3 weeks. And when they happen, though, they're sometimes significant that you suddenly, in fact, recently they sent an update where we got more range. I don't know if that means they unlocked more battery cells, because that's actually something they can do, or if they tweaked some of the algorithms in terms of how power is sent to the motors.
Yeah.
So, but, and they add features also to the entertainment screens, and
more games for you to play when you're charging.
More security. In fact, this was a significant update where, as we've been talking about, all of the cameras are being recorded at all times. And it used to be that in order to review those cameras, you had to pull the thumb drive out of the USB port and plug it into a computer.
Okay.
And one of the software updates they pushed allowed you to now review the video from inside the car, which you would think is, well, of course you would review the video from inside the car, yet for the first 6 months you couldn't. So that was a software update that they pushed a video player in, and then, obviously had to tell you about where to find it and how to make it work.
Well, and I'm sure some of these updates, whether they say it or not, are probably, they're gathering so much data from so many Teslas on the road that they're updating their self-driving autopilot feature and that sort of thing to make it better and better for customers, fewer mistakes, which there haven't been many, other than the media likes to focus on some of those sometimes.
Right. In fact, when I first picked up the car, the Autopilot didn't respond to traffic lights at all. And then a future update allowed the car to see traffic lights, but it stopped at all of them, regardless if the light was red or green. It would stop at them, or it would require you to push the stalk or push the accelerator pedal in order to tell the vehicle that, yes, I see where the traffic light and it's safe to proceed through it. And then the most recent update now allows it to see the red lights and the green lights, and if the light is green and there's a car in front of it, the car will automatically proceed through the intersection without the need for any driver action. So those software updates are a big deal, and Elon continues to tell us that true self-driving update will be coming. We were told during calendar year 2020, but it might slip till first quarter 21.
Well, and Elon is kind of famous for sometimes missing his targets that he initially announces.
He certainly is.
So. And that was my conversation with my friend Jerry in his Tesla Model Y Performance Edition. The interview took place during our 1,200-mile one-day journey from Detroit, Michigan to Tampa, Florida. If you're interested in catching that video about our road trip, here's the link. My name is Tom Stroup, and this has been Find the Right Road. If you enjoyed that video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.